Hey guys, how y'all doing? How's your day going? And if you're just starting, how was your night? Hope you had or are having an amazing and beautiful day. So today is day 6 of our 100 days of Python, and today we're going to be talking about functions. Function is kind of like a collection of statements or a collection of codes that can be called multiple times in the program to carry out whatever has been defined within that function. Now, one of the main reasons why people make use of function is when you, let's say there's something you want to be able to do, on repeat, and you don't want to have to start like typing it over and over and over again. You see that once you start working with larger projects, if you don't start typing that exact same thing multiple times, you define a function and then you just call that function whenever you need to make use of it. So now there are multiple types of functions, but today we're just going to be defining our own functions, and maybe later on in the series we're going to jump into the other types of functions. But how do you define a function? So defining functions are very easy. The first thing you need to know is you need to call the define function, which is def. Next thing that's going is the name of the function, let's just say greet, and then you have your parentheses. Now usually within these parentheses, if you want to collect a variable, it's here you just pass the variable, as much variable as you want to work with. Down the line I'm going to show you how, like, if you want to collect a list of variables, for example, if you have like multiple types of variables you're working, so I'm going to introduce you to how you work with the um single asterisks and args args, or when you start working with the dictionary form, which is the double asterisks, quarks. But we're not going to be touching that today. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing when I touch that topic, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video so that I'll be encouraged to keep making more videos. All right, so next thing we're going to indent it. Now, I don't know, I don't know if I've mentioned indentation error to you. If I think I should have, because we've already done if else statements, I should have told you about indentation error. But if I were to start writing my code from here, let's have a print function, and we're just going to print welcome. You can see this stuff is highlighted here. And if I go and check my problems, you okay, expected indented block here. Let's save this and let's just try and run the program so we can just get the indentation error. So that is the error that we're going to raise here. Remember I told you I'm calling different types of error. Now this indentation error is, oh sorry, I'm running it as, so this indentation error, it's a it's a syntax error, which means like the error is not something that was raised by the user or something of that nature. The error was created by, and maybe a placement, something is missing in the program we ran just now. So you can see it's indentation error, expected an indented block after function definition on line 1. So once you just indent it, indentation is your tab of 4 spaces. Our code should run beautifully now. So now let's run the code. Let's run our code. What is going to happen when we run the code? What's happening? Wait, fuck you. Oh my god. Okay, so what was I saying? Okay, so I think we should run the code. So you run the code, you're seeing nothing is happening. So why are we not getting that print function? Because we haven't called it. So now how do you call your function? By writing out the name of the function you want to call. Now let's call this function without any parentheses. And let's run it and let's see what's gonna happen now. Nothing else. So what if we were to now print out this function we want to call now? So let's print out. So now you can see it's showing us this is the function that we're trying to access. and it's showing us the current location. This is the location on the memory where that function where current access is saved, but it's still not giving us what we want. So how do we now actually access what's within the function? This is a very simple fix. All you need to do is just add your parentheses, and now we can see that the function has been called. So defining and calling functions is very easy. But now let's make use of this function in a more practical way. So which day did we work on the rock paper scissors? It wasn't here. This one, banker roulette, rock paper scissors here. Okay, let's use this rock paper scissors. Let's recreate this stuff but with functions here. So we're just going to create a new file, rps type parentheses with functions dot py. Okay, so now let's define a new function. Remember how to define functions. Let's just call this function rps take parentheses. Now this one we're going to be receiving two inputs. The first input is going to be the user's input, and the second one is going to be the computer's input. Don't forget to indent it. Now what do we want to do? We want to be able to check if user, say let's see, if user is equal to computer, then we're going to print that it's a tie, because if both of them call the same game, it's a tie. Now L if you remember working with if statements. L if now we're going to test for two things here. So we're going to make use of and. So we're going to say if user is equal to, let's say, rock, and uh, and computer is equal to, so rock paper, they're going to print now we're going to print we're going to print you lost. Let me just copy this. If user is equals to rock and computer is equals to scissors, why don't I know how to spell scissors? Scissors, we're going to print you won. Okay, now let me just copy this. So I've handled if the user's play is rock. What if the user played paper and was rock? It was paper and was rock. When say you won, or if it was paper and it was scissors, we're going to say you lost. So I've handled rock, I've handled paper, and lastly now it's to handle scissors. So if user played scissors and the computer played paper, we're going to say you won. Because if user played scissors, let me just copy this, and the computer played rock, it's going to be you lost. So now we have defined our function. Now what do we need to do next? Now the way we're going to call this function is going to be a bit different than how we called it before. So we're going to now call the functions name and we're going to have to assign these variables which we just accessed here because we need to be able to access the variables within the function. But instead of using user, I can still use user, but let me just to not confuse it. Gosh, I'm going to just use u and I'm going to use c. Now we need to define what u and c are. So we're going to remember how we did before. We need to have our list, and the list is going to have the functions which we want to get from the users. So we're going to have rock, paper, and scissors, all in small letters. Now, for um for u is going to be equals to an input. I forgot it how to I can forgot how to collect input from users. It's going to be input. Please pick. Please pick from the list below. Please pick from the list. Okay. Alright. And we now need to make a list for we need to work for the computer. So C is going to be equals to we're going to pick a random variable from the list. I remember how we worked with random. If you remember when we worked with RPS here, we needed to import random and then we needed to now make a random choice from the list that we had. That's what we're just going to do here. So if you don't know what I'm doing, what am I writing? If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm want to import every single thing that is inside random. So I'm going to say from random. And I don't want to have to be calling random every single time I'm working on it. I'm going to just import using asterisks, which means now I can just simply access the name directly without having to access, like having to call random dots. So I'm just going to call, and I'm going to pass in the name of the list that we're accessing from. So we're going to well, let's now print out the user's um input so that the user can know. So we're going to just print um using my formatted strings. We're going to say you okay, you picked curly braces. I'm going to call the user speak and the computer chose C. Alright. So let's save this and let's run our program. Yeah, that's it. Alright. Please speak. Oh shit, I didn't even handle the user speak. Silly me. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So the user's input we need to dot lower dot strip to remove all white spaces. I think that's everything. Right? Okay. Let's try that again. Let's speak rock. Oh shit, no, I'm not even done with this stuff. What's happening to me? What's happening to me? Else, I always need to end my thing. Else, we're just going to pass it because we've already handled everything there is to handle. Alright, let's try this one more time. Okay, let's go for rock. All right, you picked rock and the computer, I say computer, and the computer chose scissors. Therefore, you won. Okay, so you can see, even though they're like spaces and all, if you cut out the space, okay, the spaces on both of them, my space might work evenly, but you can see this one in total is like 34 lines, and this one is like 32 lines, and that is with all these spaces. So you like, if you break down all these spaces, like cut down all the spaces, so you can see like the whole, even if the difference is not so much, it's much, and it's going to come in handy, in handy when you start working with like larger programs. So you can see the whole idea of functions is to like compact your programs, to reduce, the, should I say, the length, to make it more read I don't know. But yeah, you can see like I've worked. How many times have you worked with rock paper scissors? I think it's just twice, sure. So this should be the second time I'm working on RPS. So yeah, we have made our functions more compatible. But yeah, in the next video, what are we going to be doing? I don't even know. I don't know. I'll check what we're going to be. Let me check quickly. So if you're following along with this tutorial, you can just see in all the source code will always be on my GitHub. All will be linked in the description below. Check me out on all my other social medias. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, so day 7 we're going to be building a project, and I'll be seeing you guys there. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye guys.